As a pop culture phenomenon, the lead vocalist of No Doubt, and a successful solo artist, Gwen Stefani has always been recognized for her daring sense of style, contagious energy, and unapologetic personality. Gwen has been a trendsetter for decades, influencing admirers all over the world with her music and fashion. Her iconic red lipstick and platinum blonde hair are just two examples of her signature traits. In spite of this, Gwen recently said that she has been going through a very personal journey, one in which her husband, Blake Shelton, a country music superstar, was a significant contributor to her realization of her own attractiveness. Gwen Stefani, who is 56 years old, exudes a young radiance that appears to resist the passage of time. Audiences are captivated by her vivacious demeanor, whether she is performing on stage or working on the set of The Voice. On the other hand, Gwen has not always felt as self-assured as she appears to be. During an open and honest conversation, she discussed how her relationship with Blake Shelton altered her perception of self-worth and beauty, thereby unveiling a facet of herself that she had not before fully accepted. An exploration of one's own personality. In the course of her existence, Gwen has been a whirlwind of inventiveness and rebirth. Over the course of the 1990s, she rose to prominence with No Doubt's ska-punk anthems such as Just a Girl and Don't Speak, and she carved out a niche for herself in an industry that was dominated by men. It was her daring choices in clothing, such as crop tops, bindy dots, and baggy jeans, that became a defining characteristic of her identity. Nevertheless, Gwen recognized that her self-assurance was, at least in part, a mask. "I always felt like I had to prove something," she stated in her interview. "I was this tomboy from Orange County, and I never really thought of myself as beautiful." Her formative years were characterized by insecurities that a great number of women may identify with. As Gwen was growing up, she had the impression that she did not conform to the conventional criteria of beauty. In order to conceal her self-consciousness regarding her appearance, she frequently hid behind her diverse style. "I used fashion and music as a way to express myself, but deep down, I was always questioning if I was enough," she said in her interview. Those uncertainties persisted even as her star continued to rise. There were extra complications brought about by Gwen's first marriage, which was to Gavin Rossdale, the lead singer of Bush. As a result of rumors of adultery, the couple's relationship came to an end in 2015, after they had been together for 13 years. They had 3 kids together, Kingston, Zuma, and Apollo. During the divorce, Gwen experienced a low period. "I felt like I had failed," she admitted. "I felt like I had failed. It was like my whole world fell apart, and I didn't know who I was anymore." Confronting Blake, a crucial moment in time. Then Blake Shelton appeared. It was during a turbulent period in both of their lives that the country music superstar, who is famous for singles such as God Gave Me You and his charming wit on The Voice, first established a relationship with Gwen. Even though Blake was going through his own divorce from Miranda Lambert, the two of them found comfort in one another's companionship during this difficult time. The two people had no idea that their friendship would eventually develop into a romantic relationship. Gwen stated, "Blake was like this unexpected gift," as she spoke about her spouse, and her eyes lit up with excitement as she did so. "He came into my life when I was at my lowest, and he saw something in me that I didn't even see in myself." The connection between them was instantaneous, and it was founded on the fact that they both had a passion for music. Despite the fact that they came from different places and had different experiences, Gwen, a pop rocker from California, and Blake, a cowboy from Oklahoma, discovered that they had a vulnerability that brought them together. For Gwen, Blake's love was a transformational experience. He would look at me and tell me I was beautiful, not just in a physical way, but in a way that made me feel seen, Gwen explained to me. He would say things to me like, "You are the most gorgeous person I've ever met," and at first, I didn't believe him. On the other hand, he continued to point out that, and gradually, I began to view myself through his eyes, uncovering beauty through the power of love. In order for Gwen to address her concerns, Blake's constant support was vital. It was early on in their relationship while they were getting ready for an occasion, and she recalled that moment distinctly. This was causing Gwen a great deal of anxiety. You could wear a paper bag, and you'd still be the most gorgeous woman in the room. That remark, which was uncomplicated but genuine, remained in her mind. Gwen elaborated, "It wasn't just about how I looked, and she was right. It was about how he made me feel, like I was enough just as I am." The love that Blake had for her allowed Gwen to release the pressure that she had been under to be perfect. She learned to accept her flaws, from the wrinkles on her face to the peculiarities of her personality. She began to embrace her shortcomings. "He loves me for me, not for the image I put out there," she stated in response. That was a game changer. Additionally, Gwen thanked Blake with assisting her in reestablishing a connection with her faith. Having been brought up in a Catholic household, Gwen had always been spiritual. Yet, it was through her relationship with Blake that her faith became more profound. "He's got this grounded, real way about him," she replied in response. "He reminds me to stay connected to what's important: family, love, and believing in something bigger than yourself." Her self-assurance was further boosted by this spiritual grounding, which enabled her to recognize her beauty as a component of a more comprehensive and divine design. A new episode in the Book of Confidence. Gwen's self-assurance increased in tandem with the development of her relationship with Blake. The couple's wedding in 2021 was a celebration of their love, and it took place at Blake's ranch in Oklahoma, with close relatives and friends in attendance. Gwen remarked that the day was one in which she experienced a profound sense of beauty, not because of the Vera Wang gown that she had commissioned, but rather because of the love that was all around her. "I walked down the aisle feeling like I was exactly where I was meant to be," she stated in response. "Blake made me feel like I was his everything." This newly discovered self-assurance was reflected in Gwen's professional life. When she went back to music, she did so with a refreshed sense of purpose, and she released tunes that were reflective of her own personal development. The album that she released in 2016 was titled "This Is What the Truth Feels Like," and it was a monument to her journey. Songs such as "Used to Love You" and "Make Me Like You" captured the highs and lows of her emotional development. The audience sensed a change in her performances. She appeared to be more liberated, more genuine, and undeniably beautiful overall. Additionally, Gwen placed a strong emphasis on her role as a mentor on The Voice, where the lighthearted chemistry that she shared with Blake quickly became a fan favorite. "Working with Blake is like being with my best friend," she stated in an interview. "He pushes me to be better, but he also makes me laugh and reminds me not to take myself too seriously." It was via their interplay that Gwen demonstrated her capacity to strike a balance between power and vulnerability, a balance that she attributes to Blake's involvement. Motivating other people. This is a narrative that speaks to women of all ages, including Gwen. As a result of her willingness to discuss her struggles with insecurity and her path to self-acceptance, she has become a source of motivation. "I want women to know that it's okay to doubt yourself sometimes," she stated in her speech. "However, when you discover someone who loves you specifically for who you are, everything shifts. It is not necessary for it to be a partner. It might very well be a friend, a member of the family, or even oneself. However, that love enables you to recognize the value that you possess." For his part, Blake continues to be Gwen's most ardent supportive booster. In an interview that took place not too long ago, he stated, "She is the most talented, beautiful, and kind-hearted person I know. I just try to remind her of that every day." As a reminder that beauty is more than just skin deep, their love story, which is filled with mutual respect and appreciation, serves as a reminder that beauty is about embracing who you are and finding someone who celebrates you. She brings with her a newly discovered appreciation for her beauty, both on the inside and the outside, as Gwen continues to develop as an artist, a wife, and a mother during this time. As she smiled, she continued, "Blake demonstrated to me that I am sufficient, and now I want to share that with the world."